Welcome to Mystic Realms Recap. Please like, share, and subscribe. Enjoy today's episode.
Those who achieve great things do not stick to trivial matters. If you want to gain something, you have to lose something. Lin Xiao, the protagonist of The Miracle Doctor, had this realization a long time ago. Without this awareness, he would have died in that mountain village at this moment. Over the years, he has sacrificed countless things to get to where he is today. Friendship, family, love. In order to prevent his ancient inheritance from being discovered, he personally killed his best friend. In order to survive, he can kneel down and kowtow to the bully who killed his father, recognize him as his godfather, and offer his mother both hands. For a better future, he can send his crush Leng Ruobing to Chen Beiyuan's bed. For more benefits and a better future, he can also allow himself to make some sacrifices. I'm not wrong. If Hong hadn't seen me practicing back then, I wouldn't have killed him. A 5 or 6-year-old kid would never be able to keep his cultivation skills in that damn thing. All he had to say was, if you say that, I will die. I will die. I have not yet accomplished cultivation. If I don't kneel down like a dog and wag my tail in front of the bully, begging for mercy, I will be killed by him. If I die, how will I avenge my father? I endured it for 8 years and finally slaughtered the bully's whole family, including the dogs. Never let go. When I first entered Donghua University, I had no one to rely on. If I didn't try my best to find a backer, even if I was extremely talented, I wouldn't have enough resources to compare with those geniuses. I was not wrong in giving Leng Ruobing to Chen Beiyuan. If you want a better future, you must make sacrifices. However, I never expected that Chen Beiyuan would be so insidious and cunning. A deadly plan. The motives of these Sakura people are not pure, but that doesn't matter. As long as they can benefit themselves, why not? Lin Zhao's face remained as usual, ignoring the big hands under the table, and calmly raised his glass to drink with Ito Makoto and Lin Jiuxiao. After repeated trials, he gradually became tolerant, gradually learned to disguise, and began to evolve into a cunning, rotten, poisonous dragon. Perhaps aware of Lin Jiuxiao's lukewarm attitude towards him, Ito Makoto, who had been toasting, suddenly changed his tone and brought the topic to Chen Beiyuan of the Chen family. I have to say that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. This wise saying is indeed correct. Sure enough, Lin Jiuxiao, who had always been lukewarm, suddenly became interested when he heard that the Ito family had a dispute with Chen Beiyuan, and even his busy left hand stopped briefly. The Ito family has a relationship with Chen Beiyuan? Advertisement. Chen Beiyuan is arrogant and domineering. He once humiliated the Ito family in public. How can such a narrow-minded person become the future military leader of your country? In comparison, I feel that people like Mr. Lin are the best among them. This is the future of the Donghua Empire. As soon as these words came out, Lin Jiuxiao's eyes towards Ito Makoto undoubtedly became much more pleasing to the eye, and the reserve on his face became a little less. The relationship between the two parties soon became familiar. Lin Xiao also spoke every word, calming the atmosphere at the scene and doing what a broker should do. However, what he didn't know was that there was a vague, magic thought on his shoulder at this moment, listening to the conversation between the three of them. Private room on the second floor of Yinyun Pavilion. Chen Beiyuan is having dinner with his fiancée Bai Ruowei and Leng Ruobing, who has just broken through the 4th grade. Leng Ruobing sat on his left, and Bai Ruowei sat on his right. He was sandwiched between them, one on the left and one on the right. At this moment, the atmosphere in the entire box was a little ambiguous and weird. Originally, he was the one who asked Bai Ruowei out for a meal alone, but in the end, he received a call from Leng Ruobing halfway. Originally, Chen Beiyuan didn't plan to pick it up. After all, he still had to give face to his fiancée's presence. As a result, the considerate Bai Ruowei said that it would be nice to have dinner together and get to know each other. Beiyuan, try this. Yeah, it tastes good. Seeing Chen Beiyuan and Bai Ruowei in front of them being intimate and feeding each other, Leng Ruobing's eyes were a little dazed and dim, and the hand holding the chopsticks trembled slightly. I had just successfully transferred to the 8th grade Kung Fu, Desolate Gu Sutra, and successfully passed through the 4th grade. The joy of gathering my fighting spirit disappeared in an instant, and the sourness in my heart began to surge crazily. Especially when she saw Chen Beiyuan looking at Bai Ruowei with a gentle smile on his face, her body trembled. At this moment, she was a little jealous and a little overwhelmed. She knew very well that the woman in front of her was Chen Beiyuan's fiancée. But to Chen Beiyuan, she is an unidentified woman. No matter from her family background or from all aspects, she was easily crushed by Bai Ruowei. Advertisement. This is really a kind of natural suppression. It made her feel like a mistress meeting her real wife. Senior Ruobing, why don't you use your chopsticks? Yinyan Pavilion's food is one of the best in Yinjing City. Try it. It tastes good. By the way, I have to thank you for your help in taking care of me during my absence in Yinjing. My home is Beiyuan. Bai Ruowei suddenly looked at Leng Ruobing, who had not moved her chopsticks. Her beautiful face had a gentle smile and an inexplicable affinity, which made people subconsciously feel good about her. Senior Bai, you're welcome. There was something strange on Leng Ruobing's face, and he responded with a forced smile. Chen Beiyuan took in all the reactions of the two of them, with a hint of amusement in his eyes. Bai Ruowei was clearly declaring her status as the main palace and beating Leng Ruobing. Leng Ruobing obviously understood the meaning. I have to say that among all the luck heroines, Bai Ruowei may have the biggest pattern. Almost all the other luck heroines have some abnormal, overbearing desire to possess him alone. Bai Ruowei, on the other hand, is more tolerant in this regard. As long as Chen Beiyuan is still hers and she is still big, other problems can be tolerated. If Jiang Yunhua expressed her willingness to be small and not threaten her status, she could even calmly watch the two of them go to the room and then quietly touch the crack in the door. However, compared to the internal fighting between the two lucky heroines, at this moment, Chen Beiyuan was more concerned about the conversation in the box where Lin Xiao and the others were sitting and the drama that was about to happen next. Xiaobai has already led his people here. Lin Xiao, you are really tolerant, but I look down on you a little. In addition to having great talent in giving gifts to girls, he also has great potential in giving gifts to himself. If I hadn't left a trace of demonic thoughts in your body, I'm afraid I wouldn't have known about this thing that can easily cause needle eyes. Tisk, TSK, TSK, the protagonist of A Good Miracle Doctor actually got involved with a man. This kind of thing is also an explosive plot in urban novels. Just when Chen Beiyuan was lost in thought, Bai Ruowei suddenly said that she wanted to go to the bathroom, so she got up and walked towards the bathroom in the box. Seeing Bai Ruowei getting up to go to the bathroom, Leng Ruobing was silent for a long time. He looked at the bathroom and then at Chen Beiyuan, who was lost in thought in front of him. He suddenly loosened his clenched fists and made a bold move. She actually sneaked under the dining table. It has to be said that women have a strong desire for revenge. Even if Leng Ruobing knew that she couldn't beat Bai Ruowei, how could she bow her head so easily? She also had a little pride of her own. And the simplest and most direct way for a woman to take revenge on another woman is to retaliate against her man. Revenge fiercely. Use this indirect revenge as a counterattack. Chen Beiyuan, who was thinking about things, suddenly changed his eyes slightly. Obviously, he didn't expect Leng Ruobing to be so bold. This is clearly a direct provocation. Hiss. Deep in his soul, the silly little dragon Anu was sleeping soundly, digesting the dragon blood Dao fruit and North Abyss essence. In his body, these two treasures containing terrifying life energy. The former is the dragon race treasure that allows dragon race cubs to grow quickly. Although the life energy of the latter is not as huge as that of dragon blood Dao fruit, it can be used to satisfy the hunger and produce qualitative changes from quantity. Under the nourishment of the two treasures, the already huge dragon body of the silly little dragon Anu began to grow rapidly again, and now it is close to 64 feet, about 213.33 meters. This body size is also an exaggerated existence in the dragon race. Most adult dragon races do not have such a huge dragon body. But the silly little dragon Anu has been less than 4 months since birth. A pure baby dragon. Suddenly, The sleeping little silly dragon seemed to notice something strange, and her eyelids opened a little and glanced. Just one glance, she exploded instantly. Someone is actually stealing her food. Isn't this going to kill her? Ah, Yuan Si Wa Da. The angry little silly dragon roared angrily and immediately gave up sleeping, ready to rush out of the depths of her soul and bring the daring thief to justice. Fortunately, Chen Beiyuan reacted in time and trapped him in the soul space. Otherwise, with the character of this little silly dragon, he might tear Leng Ruobing to pieces. Bad. Ah, Yuan. Advertisement. The little silly dragon Anu, who was trapped in the depths of the soul and unable to get out, was immediately angry and screamed. At this moment, Leng Ruobing, who was busy, had no idea that she had walked through the gates of hell. If Chen Beiyuan hadn't stopped her, she would have been miserable. Pa! Just then, the door of the bathroom opened, and Bai Ruowei came out holding the snow-white fox, but when she saw that only Chen Beiyuan was left in the box, she was stunned. Beiyuan, where is Ruobing? There's something going on at the Long group. She has to go back to deal with it. We'll eat ours. Chen Beiyuan looked normal and made up a reason casually. Now Leng Ruobing is the only one left in the Long family. The others are either lying in bed like vegetatives or making achievements on the front line. It can be said that Leng Ruobing is now the head of the Long family, the chairman of the Long group and other positions. Sometimes, it is really busy. Bai Ruowei frowned slightly, feeling a little strange, but she didn't think too much about it, so she sat back in her original position with the snow-white fox in her arms. Just as she was about to start eating, she keenly noticed a strange sound under the table. That strange sound was a bit like saliva dripping on the ground. Her pupils trembled, as if she understood something. She glanced down from the corner of her eyes and immediately saw a snow-white skirt. Swish! The hem of the snow-white skirt was taken back. Bai Ruowei's pupils shrank, and she understood everything instantly. She subconsciously looked at Chen Beiyuan next to her. He happened to be holding a piece of green bamboo shoot and handed it to her mouth. The tenderest bamboo buds at the top of 5th grade Fierce Beast, Emerald Bamboo Demon, are the most delicious, soft, and sweet. They have beauty and beautifying effects on women. Try it. Good. Facing Chen Beiyuan's gentle smile and intimate feeding, Bai Ruowei instantly forgot all the strange things just now, opened her red lips lightly, bit the soft bamboo bud, and savored it carefully. Those tender and charming eyes looking at Chen Beiyuan gradually gained a bit of maternal brilliance. As a child, it can be forgiven for being a little playful. It has to be said that Bai Ruowei's degree of doting for Chen Beiyuan is almost overwhelming. She could pretend she didn't know some things. While the two were feeding each other, the snow-white fox in Bai Ruowei's arms followed the source of the sound, curiously lowered his head and glanced under the dining table. Advertisement. In an instant, the female fox's eyes widened in disbelief, and she quickly pulled Bai Ruowei's clothes to remind her. Master, look at her, how good and bad she is. However, Bai Ruowei turned a blind eye to the warning from the snow-white fox and just kept eating with Chen Beiyuan, feeding each other, and the two of them were almost touching. In an instant, the only sounds left in the entire box were the sounds of 3 people eating and the squeaking of a certain little fox. Suddenly, Chen Beiyuan stopped his chopsticks, looked at the commotion below with a playful look, and a strange curve formed at the corner of his mouth. The fun finally begins. Box number 3 in Tianzi. After 3 rounds of drinking, the faces of Lin Jiuxiao, Lin Xiao, and Ito Makoto, who were changing glasses, gradually became more drunk, and the atmosphere between the 3 gradually became heated. At this moment, Ito Makoto also spoke appropriately. Third young master, I have specially prepared a pair of twin sisters from the Sakura country for you tonight. Their skills have been specially trained and I guarantee your satisfaction. Ha ha ha, thank you Mr. Ito for your kindness. Let's forget it tonight. I have another invitation from a beautiful woman. I won't go. Lin Jiuxiao laughed and declined, but glanced at Lin Xiao next to him with a fiery gaze that almost swallowed him up. Even though Lin Xiao was mentally prepared, His hair stood on end and his skin crawled. However, on the surface, he remained calm, without showing any sign of it. Damn double plug. Sooner or later, I will make you pay the price. That's such a pity. I don't know which beauty is so lucky to be able to spend the night with the third young master tonight. A trace of regret flashed across Ito Makoto's face, and it was obviously a pity that he could not drag Lin Jiuxiao into the water at once. If the Fukada sisters can seduce the third young master of the Lin family, the next things will undoubtedly be much simpler. However, at this moment, he didn't know what he said. It was obvious that some pots were not opened, which directly offended Lin Xiao, who was smiling hypocritically. Because Lin Xiao is the lucky beauty in his mouth. Ha ha ha, Mr. Ito, I can't tell you who that beauty is. Okay, it's almost time to eat. It's time to say goodbye. If there is a chance, we can meet again. Bang! Just as the meal was being prepared, the door to Tianzi number 3 box was suddenly kicked open from the outside. Several figures in law enforcement uniforms rushed in, and their eyes instantly locked on Ito Makoto. Ito Makoto, someone reported that you are a spy sent by the Sakura Kingdom. Now, you are suspected of endangering the security of the Donghua Empire and are seriously suspected of stealing imperial secrets. Come with us. Ito Makoto was pressed down on the dining table, and the leftovers from his meal instantly covered his face, making his handsome face look very embarrassed. Before he could curse angrily, his ferocious face was hit hard by an elbow. There was a bang sound, and several teeth and rust-smelling blood instantly spattered out. Woo woo woo, Mr. Lin, please save me. Ito Makoto quickly looked at Lin Xiao for help. His eyes were both pleading and threatening. I saw Ito Makoto being pushed to the ground by several law enforcement officers from the tribunal. A trace of uneasiness flashed across Lin Xiao's face at this moment, and he clenched his fists subconsciously. Not to mention whether there is anything wrong with Makoto Ito, or whether he is a spy. He had collected a lot of things from the other party before. This kind of thing can easily involve him. Damn it, I took so many things from Ito Makoto before. If this mad dog bites people, it will be in trouble. How about suddenly taking action and killing Ito Makoto directly without any evidence? At that time, I will only know the person unknown. With the identity of the adopted son of the Lin family, there won't be too many. Snapped. Just when Lin Xiao felt a little uneasy and was about to take action, he was suddenly tapped on the shoulder. Lin Jiuxiao shook her head at him expressionlessly and looked forward. Lin Xiao was stunned, followed his gaze, and his eyes changed suddenly. In the box, several black-clothed law enforcers with vague auras appeared at some point, their eyes fixed on him. As long as he made any move, he would probably be met with devastating counterattacks in an instant. There is a special team called Black and White Impermanence within the Imperial Court of Justice, which is specially used to deal with heinous targets. This team consists of one white and one black, with the former responsible for arresting and the latter responsible for killing. Lin Xiao, you are from my Lin family. As long as I am here, no one can touch you. Whoever dares to frame, you will be at odds with my Lin family and Lin Jiuxiao. Lin Jiuxiao's eyes were cold, with a hint of warning, scanning all the black and white impermanence of the trial court in the entire box. Obviously, he was speaking to these people. As for Makoto Ito, who was pinned to the ground, Lin Jiuxiao didn't even look at it. Lin Zhao's eyes were shocked, looking at the domineering Lin Jiuxiao in front of him, as if he was meeting him for the first time. Advertisement. For some reason, he felt inexplicably at ease at this moment. It seems that Lin Jiuxiao must have guessed that I collected Ito Makoto's things, so he specifically warned the people of the tribunal. As long as the third young master of the Lin family is willing to come forward, none of my problems will be a big deal. Who would believe what this mad dog Makoto Ito says? Lin Xiao was secretly relaxing at this moment, and at the same time, his heart felt a little more complicated about the third young master of the Lin family. After his godfather Qian Baizong, this was the second person who had good intentions towards him and was willing to block trouble for him at critical moments. However, at this moment, he did not realize that his fleeting complex thoughts were detected by a trace of evil thoughts on his shoulder. Interestingly, Lin Xiao, the son of fortune, actually had a crush on Lin Jiuxiao for a moment. If my demonic thoughts weren't the most sensitive to changes in people's hearts, I might not even be able to detect it. Tisk, TSK, TSK. These best friends in the original work seem to be leaning in certain directions. If that's the case, then why don't you give it a try? I like the beauty of adults the most. Catching one is also catching. Catching two is also catching, Lin Xiao. I want to see how far Lin Jiuxiao can do it for you. I hope you won't disappoint me. A wicked smile appeared at the corner of Chen Beiyuan's mouth, and he thrust his left hand hard under the table. Ignoring his fierce struggle, he forcefully hugged Bai Ruowei next to him with his right hand. The deep and cold eyes seemed to have penetrated all the constraints and saw the scene in the Tianzi number 3 box. The fun has just begun. Just when the atmosphere in the Tianzi number 3 box cooled down, a figure with an unruly face also walked in with a group of people and directly blocked the exit. The leader was none other than Bai Yuza. Lin Laosan, you are so majestic. Those who don't know better think that the Lin family has replaced you as the heir. If you want to protect people, you can protect them. The laws of the empire are made by your family? I tell you, Lin Xiao must come with us today. Someone reported that Lin Xiao took bribes from Ito Makoto, betrayed the interests of the empire, and sought personal gain. He must come back with us today to be investigated. Bang. Bayuza, don't lie in front of me. If you say someone reports it, someone will report it. I even said someone deliberately framed me. You just want to arrest members of my Lin family with your empty words. Who gave you the confidence? If you have the ability, call the person who reported the report to me and let him come out to confront Lin Xiao. I want to see who he is. As the saying goes, enemies are extremely jealous when they meet. When Lin Jiuxiao saw Bai Yuza appear, his sinister face instantly turned ferocious, and he slapped the table hard, making a huge dent. He is still very aware of the previous revenge of Broken Bird. Regardless of whether other aristocratic families were involved in that matter, Bai Yuza's shot was a real hit. If it weren't for Lin Zhao's superb medical skills, he would really be a eunuch now. Such a great hatred. He will never forget it even if he is beaten to death. This is why the Lin family asked him not to cause trouble easily, otherwise, he would have found an opportunity to take revenge and go back. Now, Bai Yuza wants to mess with his people. How could he agree? Lin Jiuxiao, the tribunal has the rules of the tribunal. How can the whistleblower's information be easily leaked? Since I dare to arrest people, I naturally have evidence. Just now, my people found a lot of valuable materials at Lin Zhao's residence. Some people saw with their own eyes that people under Makoto Ito personally delivered them. These photos were taken at the scene. Bai Yuza sneered and took out a stack of photos and threw them directly in front of Lin Jiuxiao, obviously very well prepared. Just now, he took people directly to Donghua University and raided Lin Zhao's residence to get the evidence first. Damn it! Seeing the photos on the table, Lin Zhao's eyes suddenly changed, and his face became gloomy. In the photo, his residence was almost turned over and everything was piled up, many of which were sent by Ito Makoto. He finally understood that this was clearly a game against him. Every move he made before was monitored. Almost immediately, a person's name appeared in Lin Zhao's mind. Chen Beiyuan. Only the other party could use such decisive and vicious methods. Boom. Lin Jiuxiao didn't even look at the photos on the table. He flipped the table over on the spot, and the rest of the food and the thick stack of photos fell heavily to the ground. That sinister face stared at Bai Yuza. Bai Yuza, you want to arrest someone just based on a few bullshit photos? If you take a few photos, you can be accused of collaborating with the enemy and the country. When you and I are in our status, don't deal with those lies. Take it away, Ito Makoto. If you don't stop me, as for Lin Xiao, you can't take him away today. I want to see who dares to take action. Can your Bai family withstand the anger of my Lin family? Advertisement. As soon as these words came out, the faces of the law enforcement officers in black and white uniforms in the trial court changed. Lin Jiuxiao made it clear that he wanted to protect Lin Xiao with death. However, Bai Yuza's expression did not change at all, as if he had already expected it. His status is not much different from that of Lin Jiuxiao. They are both at the same level. Naturally, it is impossible for the other party to give him face. However, I hope you can continue to be so tough in the future. Cough. Cough. A clear cough suddenly appeared, breaking the deadlock at the scene. Boom. Lin Jiuxiao's ferocious and terrifying expression suddenly changed, and he felt like thunder was resounding in his mind. The almost nightmarish figure suddenly appeared in his mind. Chen Beiyuan. When he was at the Empire Club, if his eldest brother hadn't appeared, he would have been beaten to death on the spot. In an instant, the fear of death surged into his heart again, wearing away his courage little by little. He opened his mouth, wanting to say something, but all he felt was that his throat was dry and he couldn't even say a word. He and Beiyuan should face each other head-on, but he didn't dare to confront Chen Beiyuan head-on. Even his elder brother suffered a big loss at the hands of this monster. Jiuxiao, let me go with them. After Lin Xiao heard the cough that broke the deadlock, he knew that Lin Jiuxiao couldn't protect him. Chen Beiyuan is obviously not something Lin Jiuxiao can compete with. If Chen Beiyuan hadn't been there, he might have chosen to run away on the spot and hide for a while. But obviously, this is impossible. In this case, it might as well be decent. He knew very well that Lin Jiuxiao would definitely save him. Ito Makoto still wanted to struggle, but received another elbow and was knocked unconscious instantly. Lin Jiuxiao watched helplessly as Lin Xiao silently stepped forward and was handcuffed, and was dragged away together with the unconscious Ito Makoto. He felt a cramp in his heart, his fists were clenched tightly, and his fingertips penetrated deeply into the flesh. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Scarlet blood dripped onto the ground, splattering into blood flowers. Advertisement. Box number 1. Cough, 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 cough. A violent coughing sound emerged from under the table. But Chen Beiyuan and Bai Ruowei looked as usual, as if they hadn't heard anything. On the contrary, the snow-white fox couldn't help its curiosity and quietly lay down to take a peek. Are you planning to take action against the Ito family? Bai Ruowei sniffed and seemed to smell some special smell. A blush suddenly appeared on her face, and she looked straight at Chen Beiyuan in front of her. This Bai family prodigy obviously knows something. After all, when Chen Beiyuan left the matter to his brother-in-law Beiyuan, he naturally didn't expect to be able to hide it from his fiancée. As for Lin Xiao, in Bai Ruowei's eyes, he was just an unlucky guy who was picked up by the way. They stretched their hands too far, so naturally they need to be taught a lesson. Chen Beiyuan smiled and nodded without denying it. Do you need any help from the Bai family? Although they haven't gotten married yet, Bai Ruowei has obviously regarded Chen Beiyuan as her husband, without any hesitation. If possible, I hope that the Bai family will come forward to conduct a comprehensive inspection of all Sakura national industries across the empire to the highest standards and eliminate some cancers. Chen Beiyuan also directly stated his purpose without any politeness. Not only does he want to kill the Ito family, we also need to deal with all the Sakura Kingdom's industries in the Donghua Empire. Give the people of Sakura country a hard knock. He knew very well that the Bai family had this ability. The major families within the Donghua Empire are also divided into 3, 6, and 9 levels. In an ordinary family, there is only one powerful quasi-emperor, who has great influence on a region. A medium-sized family has an 8th-grade war emperor who suppresses luck, has great influence in many regions, and can initially interfere in the empire's decision-making. The top aristocratic families not only have the 8th-grade war emperor to suppress luck, but also have their own fiefdoms. They have terrifying influence and can directly interfere with the empire's decision-making. They also control certain aspects of the empire. For example, the Qin family controls most of the empire's military power. The power held by the Bai family, a top family, is the law of the empire. In the most popular terms, the final interpretation of all laws in the Donghua Empire rests with the Bai family. This is why Beiyuan can always easily mobilize people from the tribunal to arrest people, because this is one of the powers and authority that belongs to the Bai family. Say you have a problem, you have a problem. If you say you broke the law, then you are breaking the law. Steaming, you don't have a prop? The power of the Bai family may be lacking compared to the top aristocratic families at the same level, and it is not as powerful as the Chen family, but for the top aristocratic families below, it is definitely a king-level existence. With just one sentence, he could forcibly order the Sakura national industries in various parts of the empire to experience the feeling of being beaten with an iron fist. In a matter of minutes, those people from Sakura country will know what it is like to feel like dying. At that time, we will be able to harvest these cherry blossom national industries and squeeze out a lot of oil and water. Since ancient times, there have been hidden rules for merchants to harvest. If you engage your own people, it may easily lead to some gossip. But if it involves outsiders, countless people will definitely applaud. Although many aristocratic families in the Donghua Empire like to raise pigs for harvesting. But Chen Beiyuan is not very interested. He prefers to deal with outsiders than with his own people. It doesn't matter if you are in trouble at home. It is the last word to be unreasonable when you go out. In addition to the Bai family, Chen Beiyuan also plans to let the Longting group attack the Ito family's arms business overseas and teach them a profound lesson. Okay, I will let the Bai family cooperate with you. Bai Ruowei agreed directly without hesitation. If it were anyone else, she might still hesitate and consider the pros and cons, but since it was her future husband who spoke, she would not refuse. In a sense, she has the character of a husband-slayer demon. Bai Yu's character of helping managers but not relatives, helping his brother-in-law but not his own people, is largely due to her influence. Do I need someone to attack Sakura country's overseas industries? The Bai family also supports some armed forces and subordinates overseas. There are people from the Bai family even inside Sakura country. Not for the time being. If you use too much of the Bai family's power because of me, it will easily arouse criticism and it will not be good for you. Chen Beiyuan shook his head and rejected Bai Ruowei's proposal. He and Bai Ruowei are not married yet, so some things are still inconvenient. Moreover, the Bai family is the Bai family, and the Chen family is the Chen family. Some things must be clearly distinguished, otherwise, there will always be people who like to gossip. Sometimes, when matters related to interests are involved, brothers have to fall out. Advertisement. Not every aristocratic family is as harmonious as the Chen family and values family ties more than interests. I will take care of matters overseas personally, Chen Beiyuan said with cold eyes. The reason why he went to war and killed so violently was not just because the Ito family had offended the Chen family. It was even more because of the profound blood feud. In the original work, after the Chen family was almost annihilated, the Donghua Empire's military power suffered unprecedented heavy losses. The entire northern border was lost, invaded by ferocious alien beasts, and a large area of territory was lost. The overall strength of the Donghua Empire has almost fallen into a downturn. Even if the Lin family successfully ascends to power and becomes the leader of the imperial military, it will be of no avail. Because at that time, the Lin family was also competing with the Chen family, and its strength was greatly reduced and was eventually controlled by Lin Xiao. At that time, the ambitious wolf of Sakura country chose to invade without hesitation, intending to devour the elephant from the python. Many Donghua people died at the hands of the Sakura people, and many places were forcibly occupied. In the midst of civil strife, the Donghua Empire, which was busy dealing with the ferocious beasts and alien races in the north, could hardly spare its hands to deal with the Sakura kingdom. At the critical moment, Lin Xiao, as the son of fortune, stepped forward and went to the Sakura country alone to negotiate with them. In the end, he signed multiple contracts through verbal battles with the Confucians in exchange for the cherry blossom country to stop invading. This news caused an uproar within the Donghua Empire at that time, and many people regarded Lin Xiao as a hero who saved the world. However, when the truce contract signed by Lin Xiao came out, everyone exploded. As the price of the armistice, all the territory and sea areas previously occupied by Sakura country were owned by Sakura country. Yes, you heard it right. As the son of fortune, Lin Xiao's method is to cede territory and seek peace. This little b asterisk 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 decut the ground. You know, the Lin family, as the leader of the imperial military at that time, was in the hands of Lin Xiao. As the barrel of a gun of the empire, instead of seeking war, he seeks peace. What's even more scolding is that Lin Xiao, the son of fortune, still thinks that his behavior is right. At that time, Lin Xiao was scolded by many people within the Donghua Empire for his traitorous behavior. However, in the Sakura country, he was called Saint, and a special statue was used to worship him. As the overlord of the Sakura kingdom, the Ito family betrothed 7 of their daughters to him as concubines. In this regard, Lin Xiao did not refuse and accepted it directly, saying that this was a necessary sacrifice to promote the friendship between the two countries. Advertisement. After that, other overseas countries also wanted to get involved, and it was Lin Xiao, the son of fortune, who came forward to cede territory and seek peace. To this end, he also harvested beauties and terrifying resources from all over the world. He really dared to exchange the interests of the Donghua Empire for his own interests. On the contrary, in the end, because the Chen family was annihilated and became a lost dog, the original Destiny villain, who had been hunted by all parties, after being promoted to 9th grade god of war, directly used the blaster of overseas countries, first destroying the Sakura kingdom, and then destroyed many countries and took back the territory of the Donghua Empire bit by bit. The mess left by Lin Xiao, the son of fortune, was actually left to him, the destined villain, to clean up the mess. This is really disgusting. This time, Chen Beiyuan was determined to deal with those Sakura people who were used to being arrogant, and Lin Xiao, the son of fortune, and let them know what it means to live worse than death. You like invasion, right? You like to betray your country, right? Okay, let's play slowly. Ruowei, let me take you back first. After Chen Beiyuan had eaten and drank enough and watched the show, he had no intention of staying and was ready to leave. Good. Ruowei nodded, bent down to pick up the snow-white fox, put a pack of tissues on the table, stood up, followed Chen Beiyuan, and left side by side. After the two people left the room, Leng Ruobing, who was covered in white frost, came out from under the table and watched through the window as the two people held hands and got into the car, with a hint of loneliness in their eyes. She heard clearly the conversation between the two just now. She thought she could compare with Ruowei through hard work, but the reality gave her a cruel blow. Compared with Ruowei's ability to give Chen Beiyuan enough support and strength at critical moments, there is really too little she can do. Ultimately, she was not on the same level as the two of them. She was too weak to provide her own strength when Chen Beiyuan needed help. After a long silence, she picked up the pack of tissues on the table and went to the bathroom to wash it before slowly leaving Yinyun Pavilion. Finally, everyone left. After Chen Beiyuan and others left, the entire dead Yinyun Pavilion became full of life again. The diners in the private rooms and the boss who had been hiding finally breathed a sigh of relief. A small conflict between these high-ranking figures is, to them, no less than a battle between gods. If one is not good, it will bring disaster to the fish in the pond. Nanny? Ito Kuin was arrested by the Donghua Empire Tribunal for espionage? How is this possible? Ito Kuin is a noble of our Sakura kingdom. How could he be a spy? There is definitely a misunderstanding. I believe Ito Kuin is innocent. The Donghua Empire must have made a mistake. I will get in touch with the Sakura kingdom as soon as possible and let the Sakura kingdom royal family communicate with the Donghua Empire's royal family. Junyun, thank you so much this time. If you hadn't rushed to tell me, I would still be in the dark. If you accept this, you will always be a good friend of Sakura country. Shingong Fengyuan looked at a Donghua student who hurriedly came to report with a look of astonishment. He seemed a little unbelievable. He soon recovered as before, took off a jade pendant from his waist, and stuffed it into his hand as a gift to express his gratitude. Yun Mandrill originally planned to shirk it, but after seeing the powerful aura emanating from the jade pendant, his eyes immediately straightened, and he subconsciously took it, exclaiming in his heart that he had made a lot of money, and a flattering smile appeared on his face. Your Highness Fengyuan, you're welcome. I also believe that Ito Makoto is definitely not a spy. There must be someone playing tricks on him. You'd better contact the above and try to clear up the misunderstanding. I have something else to do, so I won't disturb you anymore. I'll take my leave now. Junyun, let me see you off. Until Yun Mandrel is sent away. The hypocritical smile on Jingu Fengyuan's face instantly dissipated, becoming extremely gloomy, and there was a trace of uncontrollable fear deep in his eyes. Damn it! If it weren't for some Eastern Chinese people coming to tip off the news, he was afraid that he didn't even know about Ito Makoto's arrest. Has their plan been exposed? That idiot Ito Makoto. What on earth did that idiot do? No, we must evacuate the Donghua Empire as soon as possible. If we stay here longer, it will be more dangerous. Regardless of whether Ito Makoto is exposed or not, once they are tortured by the Donghua people, they may be exposed. Jingu Fengyuan quickly found his sister Jingu Yukino and prepared to evacuate through special channels. Advertisement. As for the other exchange students from Sakura country, naturally, he stayed in the Donghua Empire to use smoke bombs to cover their departure. But just when Jingu Fengyuan was about to contact the Jingu family's hidden stake in the Donghua Empire to cover their brother and sister's departure, he was stopped by Jingu Yukino. The princess of Sakura Kingdom, who looked like a snow girl, still maintained her rationality at this moment. There was a ripple in her misty blue eyes, and she had obviously guessed something. Brother Fengyuan, maybe things haven't gotten that bad yet. Have you forgotten the previous grudge between the Ito family and Chen Jun? Not long after this incident, Ito Makoto was arrested by the Donghua Empire Tribunal for espionage. Yes, isn't it too much of a coincidence? Yukiono, are you saying that Chen Jun is behind this matter to take revenge on the Ito family? By the way, the Bai family is behind the Imperial Court of Justice. The Bai family and the Chen family. Jingu Fengyuan's expression changed slightly, as if he had figured out the level. The anxiety on his face gradually calmed down, and he murmured to himself. It has to be said that he was obviously frightened by the sudden bad news just now, so he couldn't react for a while. Now, after Yukino's reminder, he reacted instantly and his IQ regained its high ground. Brother Fengyuan, please report this matter and let father negotiate and communicate with the Ito family. This matter was caused by the Ito family, so they will naturally be held responsible. The people of Donghua must still not know our purpose. All this is controlled by Chen Jun, who wants to take revenge on the Ito family. If we run away at this time, we will mess up our position and be really exposed. When the time comes, the Ito family will also shirk all responsibilities on us. Jingu Yukino looked at the panicked brother in front of him with a cold expression. A hint of contempt flashed through his misty blue eyes, and he soon returned to being cold and calm. Jingu Fengyuan obviously didn't understand his sister's fleeting contempt. He cheered himself up, tried to calm down, and said in agreement, Yukino, you are right. We should report this to the Ito family and ask my father to give an explanation to the Ito family. Those idiots from the Ito family deserve to die. Imperial Inquisition, Black Prison. The dark, damp, rotten and stinky cells housed strange figures, including humans, aliens, and ferocious beasts. Advertisement. This is a prison cell in the Donghua Empire dedicated to imprisoning the most heinous and vicious criminals, most of whom are strong men above 5th grade. It is said that deep in the dark prison, there is a foreign king comparable to the 8th grade war emperor. Once you are imprisoned in this place, it can almost be said that you have half stepped into the gate of hell. As for whether he can get out, it depends on whether the king of Yama, of the Bai family, is willing to let him go. Ito Makoto and Lin Xiao, who were handcuffed and leg-cuffed, were also forcibly brought here by the black and white judge of the tribunal. Baga, you can't treat me like this. I am the 3rd son of the Ito family. The Ito family has trade relations with many aristocratic families in the Donghua Empire. My grandfather Ito Ryu once asked to marry a branch of the Ji family. Princess, I also have part of the blood of the Donghua royal family in my body. Ito Makoto had obviously heard of the reputation of the dark prison and was almost frightened out of his mind. His slightly thin body struggled wildly, and he shouted in panic. However, the black and white judges, who were responsible for escorting him around, did not pay any attention to him and turned a deaf ear. Lin Xiao, who was also being escorted, glanced at Makoto Ito in surprise, obviously not expecting that the Ito family was so secretive. However, most of those top forces are related to each other, which is normal. But the Jiang family has many bloodlines, and if you really want to talk about it, a prince's daughter is nothing. Since Chen Beiyuan dared to take action, he obviously didn't take the Ito family seriously. At this moment, Lin Xiao also calmed down, and his thoughts were extremely clear. With my weight, I shouldn't be able to mobilize forces like this. The person Chen Beiyuan really needs to deal with should be Ito Makoto. No, it should be the family behind Ito Makoto. I suffered an unreasonable disaster and was dealt with by the way. However, although I accepted a lot of things from Ito Makoto, I didn't reveal too much information. I just helped introduce some people to me. The crime will not lead to death. Besides, Lin Jiuxiao is here. He will definitely save me. I definitely can't die. Moreover, I'm not the only one collecting things. There are too many people involved. I have a list of those people and secretly handed them over to Qiu Shuame of the Weilong Group in the Magic City. At critical moments, they can be used to save lives. Those who took them people with evil intentions must come forward to protect me. It has to be said that Lin Xiao, the son of fortune, still has quite a few tricks up his sleeve. Even in a dangerous situation, he still had a backup plan and did not pin all his hopes on Lin Jiuxiao. However, the only thing he didn't expect was that the female president of Weilong Group, Qiu Shume, whom he relied on, had long been in the form of Chen Beiyuan. Interesting. As expected of Son of Fortune, he secretly made a list of all the people in Donghua Academy who had collected things from the Sakura Kingdom and hid them. Although it was not as big as the list sent by the Jiang family. In detail, it's close to 70%. It seems that you anticipated what might happen when you collected Ito Makoto's things and prepared backup plans in advance. If your every move hadn't been monitored by my demonic thoughts, and if Qiu Shuame, the president of Weilong Group whom you trust most, was mine, I would have almost been able to make a comeback for you. Chen Beiyuan looked playfully at the silver USB flash drive that was thrown up and down in front of him, exuding a mysterious light, and a strange smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. This silver USB flash drive contains the list. Lin Xiao secretly handed it over to Qiu Shuame of the Weilong Group in the Magic City a long time ago, preparing to use it to turn the tables at a critical moment. But what Lin Xiao never dreamed of was that after Qiu Shuame got the silver USB flash drive, she handed it over to Chen Beiyuan. Almost all of Lin Xiao's plans are under his control. Human, being too smart is not a good thing. If you are so smart, you are not far from death. Of course, you won't die until I nod, but some necessary punishment is still necessary. At this moment, my brother-in-law Bai Yuza called, and that mean voice began to report on the progress of the work. Brother-in-law, I have caught that little b*** d Ito Makoto. What are your orders next? How are you going to greet him? We are all guests from far away. We are all guests no matter what. Don't overdo it. I will just say one word to give him some peace of mind, and you can take care of the rest. Chen Beiyuan said casually. Hey, don't worry, brother-in-law. I promise to make clear arrangements for him. If that be it comes in and dares to make noises and try to get relatives, I have to give him a taste of the great memory recovery technique in the prison. No. Within an hour, he even had to tell me the color of his own mother's panties. Bayuza looked at the crying Ito Makoto not far away with a sneer, and then looked at the silent Lin Xiao not far away. By the way, brother-in-law, what are you going to do with this guy Lin Xiao? This guy is much tougher than Ito Makoto. From the moment he came in until now, he looks like he's dead. He seems to be a man. Doesn't he like to give women to others to play with? Then let him have a taste of being played with. I remember that there are a few bisexual Tauren imprisoned in the dark cell. Those things are very popular with human men. They lock people up, go in and use the photo stone to record everything that happens next. Chen Beiyuan said calmly. The hermaphrodite Tauren he spoke of were a foreign race located in the north. They were a mutant species of Tauren. They could be said to be suitable for both men and women and could be attacked or received. However, most of the time these things were in an attacking state. Only when they encounter a being that is bigger and more terrifying than themselves will they show their receptive side. Lin Xiao was handcuffed and leg cuffed, with limited mobility and limited strength. It is natural to imagine what will happen. Brother-in-law, you have to be ruthless. Beiyuan was also a little numb from this suggestion at this moment. Those hermaphrodite tauren were generally over 3 meters in size, like a green giant. Lin Xiao was like a little chicken in front of them. Next, I'm afraid a classic scene from Avengers will happen. The Hulk smiled evilly at Black Widow. Advertisement. I hope Lin Jiuxiao can come to save people soon. If it's a few days at night, Lin Xiao will probably turn into the shape of those tauren. Imperial Inquisition, Black Prison. Lin Xiao watched helplessly as Ito Makoto was tied up hand and foot, with a piece of cloth stuffed in his mouth, and sent into the execution chamber. He was whipped fiercely with a thick black whip covered with blades. After a few blows, he was instantly beaten on the spot. Become a bloody man? The shrill and suppressed howls resounded continuously in the execution chamber. Snapped, snapped, snapped. Say it or not. Say it or not. Snapped, snapped, snapped. Say it or not. Say it or not. Snapped, snapped, snapped. Say it or not. Say it or not. Ito Makoto was almost going crazy with pain. You didn't even ask a damn question. What did I say? Also, UF asterisk 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 G gag my mouth. What can I say? You can untie it. Uh. In less than 10 minutes, Ito Makoto was beaten with bruises and whip marks all over his body, and he was knocked unconscious. Puff. Throw a bucket of concentrated salt water over. Ito Makoto woke up from the pain in an instant and suddenly screamed again. You're still screaming so loudly. It seems like you haven't hit me properly. Keep hitting me. If you feel faint, I'll wake you up. When did you say it, and when did you stop? Lin Xiao, don't be afraid. You are different from him. He is from Sakura. You are from Donghua, and one of our own. For the sake of my own people, I will definitely not torment you like that. I know the rules. You will stay in the dark cell these days. When will Lin Jiuxiao clear up the relationship and come to rescue you, you can leave. Advertisement. Of course, newcomers will definitely suffer a little when they come in, so you should be mentally prepared. With a kind expression on his face, Beiyuan gave a rare word of comfort to Lin Xiao, who looked a little ugly. Immediately, he waved to a judge in black next to him. Take this prisoner to cell number 31 on the second floor of the black cell. Thank you, Mr. Bai. Lin Xiao was stunned for a moment, with a grateful expression on his face and secretly relieved in his heart. Although I don't know what kind of medicine Beiyuan sells in the gourd, it may be good to avoid some physical pain. He is not a masochist and likes to be dealt with. Now that you are in the hands of others, you will naturally not confront them head-on. You still have to bow your head when necessary. It seems that Beiyuan still has some scruples and doesn't dare to torture me to death. After all, I am also a member of the Lin family. Not everyone is as arrogant, domineering, and unscrupulous as Chen Beiyuan. Lin Xiao, who was dragged away in chains by the black-clothed judge, lowered his head and thought to himself, ignoring the peeping eyes from the surrounding cells. Soon, he was brought to a prison cell deep in the second level of the dungeon that exuded the stench of decay. The judge in black opened the cell door, pushed him in, and said coldly, "Young master Bai specifically told me not to kill anyone." After saying that, he left without looking back. Only Lin Xiao was left lying in the cell, handcuffed and leg-cuffed, with a confused look on his face. What's the situation? Before Lin Xiao had time to take stock of his surroundings, he was suddenly surrounded by 3 behemoths that exuded a strong stench, had long curved horns, looked like black iron towers, and were covered in animal skins. In front of these 3 behemoths, Lin Xiao was as delicate and cute as a rag doll. Male? Human? The largest tauren made a strange voice that sounded like a man or a woman, etc. Bang! Before Lin Xiao could react, his head was directly pressed to the ground by a huge cow's hoof, and his clothes instantly exploded and turned into ashes. His eyes suddenly bulged, and he let out a howl that didn't sound like a human being. In the cell, Lin Zhao's inhuman howling only lasted for less than a moment, and soon stopped abruptly, as if it was blocked by something. With his strength restrained by special handcuffs and leg irons, he was like a tattered rag doll in front of several minotaurs that looked like giant iron tower beasts, unable to fight back. At this moment, he was experiencing both mental and physical torture. The humans and alien ferocious beasts and other surrounding cells were also casting strange glances there at this moment, and soon moved their eyes away in disgust. Every scene that happened inside was recorded by a photo stone and a projection stone that were placed in advance. Office of the Administrator. Chen Beiyuan was sitting on the sofa, expressionlessly admiring the high-definition picture projected by the projection stone. He was amazed and said to Leng Ruobing, who was kneeling on the ground busy, "Ruobing, I will pay back the previous debt from the Kyoto nightclub for you." Leng Ruobing didn't say a word, just lowered her head and continued busy. The love contained in those charming eyes looking at Chen Beiyuan was almost overflowing. Just now, Chen Beiyuan suddenly asked her out and said he had something good for her to see. After arriving, she saw Lin Xiao being pressed to the ground and rubbed by several stinky tauren. Unexpectedly, she didn't feel any nausea at all, but instead felt a sense of joy. When she was in the Kyoto nightclub, if Chen Beiyuan hadn't taken action, her end would never have been better than that of Lin Xiao in the cell. Over the years, countless women have died at the hands of Lin Zhoxiao, and most of them ended up miserable. After the third young master of the Lin family got tired of playing with it, he liked to give it to his subordinates to play with, or throw it to some humanoid alien slaves to satisfy their own perverted fetishes. It's just that she has never been able to take revenge on Lin Xiao, the instigator. Now, this B**************** D finally got the comeuppance he deserved. Those who sell people will always be sold. Facing the man in front of her who avenged her, Leng Ruobing just wanted to use all methods to repay him. At this moment, even if Chen Beiyuan makes some excessive demands, she will agree without hesitation. Because, in her eyes, this man is already her only one. Advertisement. Ding. Due to the strong intervention of the host, the heroine Leng Ruobing of Luck has developed a mentality of surrender and attachment to the host from body to soul. She will never betray you. Even if you want her to die, she will refuse. Because the gears of fate have been partially reversed, part of the fate that belongs exclusively to the heroine Leng Ruobing, Luck, will be transferred to the host. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the fate of Luck from the heroine Leng Ruobing and successfully activating divine luck ability. Life and death depend on each other. Life and death depend on each other. Leng Ruobing. When the host encounters damage, the damage can be transferred to Leng Ruobing. When the host encounters a death crisis, Leng Ruobing's life can be used to replace its death, and vice versa. Note: Leng Ruobing's death will have no effect on the host, and its transferred luck will disappear. Life and death? Luck divine ability? Chen Beiyuan looked stunned. It was obviously the first time he had heard of such a weird divine ability. However, this divine ability can almost be said to have given him an extra life. If used properly, it can even save several lives. This is almost a substitute for the powerful divine ability. As long as Leng Ruobing can bear it, he can transfer almost all the injuries he suffers. Even if Leng Ruobing dies, he will not be affected at all. What a weird and domineering divine ability power. It almost ties Leng Ruobing's life to Linhua. At the critical moment, I can use her as a substitute in exchange for my own safety. Not only that, part of Leng Ruobing's destiny and luck has also been transferred to me. This means that I can enjoy the treatment that some protagonists deserve. Opportunity comes. Divine beasts recognize their masters. Fairies love me. Wait a minute. Is the lucky divine ability of life and death exclusive to Leng Ruobing, or is it shared by all lucky heroines? If I can gather part of the destiny of all lucky heroines into me, and then combine their lives with I'm connected, don't I have many more lives? And I can share the superimposed health bars of all the heroines of luck? Swish. Chen Beiyuan looked at Leng Ruobing and felt hot instantly. His fiery gaze made her lower her head shyly, a little deeper. One of them is just a fourth-grade general. Leng Ruobing, who has not obtained the Emperor Gu, is naturally nothing. The other lucky heroines are not simple. Jiang Yunhua has the fire phoenix fighting spirit, can be reborn from the fire, and possesses countless secret treasures. Bai Ruolwei is a Bai Ruolwei with a special identity who possesses the fighting spirit of Bai Zhe and is able to understand ghosts, gods, and all things, know before and after, seek good fortune, and avoid evil. Both of these two are top prodigies who are expected to become 8th grade Emperor Gu, etc. Advertisement. Chen Beiyuan's expression suddenly became a little uncertain. He ignored one question. The 8th grade Emperor Gu from the southern Xinjiang Gu clan. If Leng Ruobing got the 8th grade Emperor Gu and lived with it, wouldn't he be able to indirectly share the life of the 8th grade Emperor Gu? Hiss. At that time, even if he has not yet reached the 8th grade War Emperor, he will be able to compete with the 8th grade War Emperor. Even the 8th grade War Emperor has trouble killing him. This is almost a step to the sky, and has the foundation to step into the top combat power. But this will undoubtedly have a substantial conflict with his southern Xinjiang plan. Nowadays, the best candidate to unify southern Xinjiang is not Leng Ruobing, but her mother Nbiyu. Moreover, Nbiyu can exert the combat power of the 8th grade Emperor Gu faster. Leng Ruobing doesn't know how long it will take to activate the 8th grade Emperor Gu. It would be great if Nbiyu could also have a life and death dependence on me. Chen Beiyuan's eyes were dark, looking in the direction of southern Xinjiang, with a pensive expression on his face. In southern Xinjiang, Gu clan's stronghold. Exuding strange auras, the female Gu masters of all ages gathered around Nbiyu, with respect and enthusiasm on their faces. Saintess, I have contacted the Great Elder, and she agrees to meet you. A hunched old woman wearing simple Gu clothes came forward and whispered. If there are people from the Gu tribe here, they will find that this old woman is actually the third most powerful elder in the Gu tribe. No one expected that Nbiyu could win over the third elder quietly. At this moment, Nbiyu has almost mastered a powerful force within the Gu clan, and has initially laid the foundation for seizing power. Nbiyu's cold and charming face nodded slightly and prepared to stand up, but suddenly she seemed to notice a familiar feeling, and at the same time, she looked towards the north. Owner, Saintess, it's time to go, otherwise the Great Elder will be in a hurry. The third elder reminded in a low voice. Nbiyu finally regained her composure, withdrew her gaze, looked at the people gathered around her, and nodded slightly to express her understanding. She knew very well that the reason why these excluded and suppressed Gu people gathered around her was not only because of their power, but also because of her bloodline. As a direct bloodline of Gu Emperor, she can almost be said to be an orthodox existence. Only the strongest Gu Emperor bloodline can bring out the true strength of the Emperor Gu. At this point, even in Yunu, AB****ch from a collateral background couldn't compare to her. Her return this time is to take back everything that once belonged to her. Soon, under the arrangements of many Gu clan elders, Nbiyu came to a secret residence. I met the legendary Great Elder who was second only to the Saintess of the Gu clan and had the strength of quasi-emperor. Surprisingly, this Great Elder of the Gu clan, who has lived for nearly 200 years and is regarded as an evergreen tree of the Gu clan. He has profound qualifications and has convinced countless Gu clan members, is not a hideous and ugly old woman with chicken skin and white hair. Instead, she was a beautiful young woman who looked like a ripe peach, with long snow-colored hair, weathered eyes, fair skin, and an exotic aura. What is even more surprising is that the appearance of this Great Elder is somewhat similar to Nbiyu. The Great Elder looked at Nbiyu, who was wearing a black cloak, with gentle eyes. There seemed to be some reminiscence and complexity on his face, and he slowly said, Baisu, long time no see. Aunt, long time no see. Nbiyu also looked at the beautiful young woman in front of her with complicated eyes, and spoke calmly. Yes, the Great Elder of the Gu clan in front of her was clearly her aunt and her mother's sister. This is the real reason why Nbiyu was able to seize power successfully in the original work. Within the Gu clan, most of the people in high positions are descendants of the female Gu emperor. Almost all of these people have a close relationship within BU. Advertisement. Sakura Country, Edo family. Baga, that Donghua man is so arrogant that he actually arrested and imprisoned the core members of the Edo family. Damn it, Edo Makoto must be rescued. If that incident is exposed, it will definitely be a disaster for the Edo family. No, those Donghua people probably haven't noticed that yet. Otherwise, their warships would have sailed into the waters of Sakura Kingdom long ago. My grandfather planted a spiritual mark in Edo Makoto's body. As long as he has the thought of telling that thing, his brain will be burned up by the fire of Amaterasu. The old immortal of the Jingu family seems to have known about our plan. It seems that we also have people from the Jingu family. So what if you know? We are doing all this to make Sakura Country greater. What qualifications does the Jingu family have to stop it? Edo Makoto must also be rescued. If he remains in the hands of the Donghua people, there will be more hidden dangers. He must be safe and worry-free. However, he cannot bow his head easily, otherwise, those cunning Donghua people will also suspicious. As long as that thing is not exposed, everything else is trivial. This is a big gamble. Once we win, the Sakura people will become the greatest nation in the world. The plan must be launched as soon as possible. Those guys can hardly wait. They are not as patient as us. Chen family. When Chen Beiyuan returned home after sending Leng Ruobing back, he saw a familiar figure looking at him with a pleased expression. Father! Chen Beiyuan looked at Chen Zhuqing, whom he had not seen for a long time, with a hint of surprise on his face. There has been no news since he last reported the Jiang family's plan to his father. He thought his father had been in retreat and had no time to reply. But now it seems that it is obviously different from what he expected. Beiyuan, you have done a good job. Originally, I was a little worried that you would rashly agree to the Jiang family, but now it seems that I was obviously overly worried. You are more stable than I thought. Chen Zhuqing had a bit of relief and emotion on her face, and her eyes were full of tenderness when she looked at her precious son. Advertisement. As early as a month ago, he received a message from his son about cooperation with the Jiang family, but there was no reply. He just wanted to see if his son would act impulsively and agree on behalf of the Chen family. This is a test for the heir. Obviously, Chen Beiyuan gave him a satisfactory answer. The real goal of the Jiang family is not the Sakura Kingdom, but the Chen family. The one who wants to pull the Chen family onto the Jiang family's boat bit by bit and release the corresponding political stance to the outside world. The reason why the Chen family has been independent and neutral over the years is because the Chen family holds the largest military power in the empire, and all parties need to win over us. The Donghua Empire is a powerful joint stock country. Although the Jiang family, as the royal family, is the strongest, it is always checked and balanced by the major families. No one wants to have another uncle on their head. Staying with the Jiang family for too long will not bring much benefit to the Chen family. It will even be regarded as a betrayal and a traitor by other aristocratic families, and will be targeted by all parties. Even the Jiang family is plotting to gain military power from the Chen family. Although the fat meat in Sakura Country is delicious, it is poisonous. If the Jiang family has an idea, let them do it. Now the territory on the border front is enough for us to digest. There is no need to start again at this time. Dispute. The most important thing is what you eat. The rest of the promises are bullshit. Even if one day we really want to take action against Sakura Country, it will be my Chen family who decides how to divide the flesh. The initiative must be in our hands. Faced with Chen Zhuqing's careful teaching, Chen Beiyuan also nodded slowly. Obviously, he really listened. Some things cannot be taken at face value. Even though the Jiang family looks extremely close to the Chen family now, deep down in their hearts, they feel a hatred. Who could look at a behemoth with millions of troops on the border, a behemoth with a deep and unfathomable foundation that has almost penetrated the entire military world? Every night, I don't know how many people can't sleep. I understand, Father. Just understand. My body has begun to retreat during this period, seeking a breakthrough. This clone will stay in the Chen family for a while. If you have any questions about cultivation, you can ask me. My father has heard about what you have been doing these days. If you want to do it, just do it. You can also beat some restless guys. Father Chun said meaningfully. It's hard to imagine that he is just a clone at this moment. Donghua Academy. Along with the news that Ito Makoto and Lin Xiao were taken away by people from the Imperial Tribunal, many people instantly fell into fear, fearing that they would be involved. Suddenly, people were panicked. Fortunately, only Makoto Ito was arrested, and nothing happened to the rest of the Sakura Country Exchange Group. At the same time, the conflict between Chen Beiyuan and the Ito family was also exposed. Obviously, Chen Beiyuan deliberately wanted to mess with the Ito family. This undoubtedly made many people secretly relieved. However, just when many people began to feel relieved, a mysterious man came to the door one by one with a list and asked them to help fish out Lin Xiao. In an instant, those people began to curse. This bribery list is clearly a reminder. If you are not good, you have to go to the dark prison of the Inquisition. In order not to be exposed, they could only choose to find ways to save people in the hope of fishing Lin Xiao out. However, they obviously also hated Lin Xiao in their hearts. This list and the mysterious man are definitely related to Lin Xiao. This thing is both a life-saving talisman and a life-saving talisman. At the same time, the Ito family, the overlord of the Sakura Kingdom, also began to exert force. Obviously, they did not want to bow to Chen Beiyuan easily, but chose to interfere through various relationships. As a result, many Donghua families who had business and personal relationships with the Ito family began to use their connections to fish out Ito Makoto first. Among these people, there are many core members of wealthy families and even heirs. Of course, their first target was definitely not Chen Beiyuan, but the Bai family. After all, Ito Makoto is currently being held in the Bai family's trial court, not in the Chen family. Moreover, compared to the Chen family, the Bai family is easier to mess with. The dean feels cold occasionally and doesn't see any outsiders. The third uncle of the Bai family in the Imperial Court of Justice, who was hailed as the King of Hell by countless people, was the first to announce that he was ill and that if anything happened, he would go directly to his nephew Beiyuza. Ever since, Beiyuza, the little devil of the Bai family, instantly became the target of everyone's anger. Without my brother-in-law's warrant, it's useless for anyone to come. My brother-in-law asked me to release him, so I will release him. Otherwise, even if the Heavenly King comes, I won't be able to do it. Beiyuza was also a merciless master. He immediately settled in the black cell and guarded Ito Makoto and Lin Xiao all day long. Advertisement. He said that if his brother-in-law had not opened his mouth, he would have beaten him to death and would not let him go. If you have the ability, come and rob the prison. Good guy. Those people who begged for mercy were so angry when they saw that Beiyuza refused to accept the offer and looked like he could kill me. Finally, after going round and round, I came back to Chen Beiyuan. After much discussion, Liu Zhe, the heir of a middle-class aristocratic family called the Liu family, who was related to the Chen family, came to visit. Brother Chen, my Liu family has a lot of cooperation with the Ito family overseas. I really can't refuse due to human feelings. Can you give me a favor to the Liu family and release Ito Makoto first? Don't worry. Corresponding compensation. I promise not to let you down. To be honest, I have no choice but to do so. In addition to my Liu family, there are many families in the empire who have contacts with the Ito family. The young master of the Liu family seemed very humble in front of Chen Beiyuan, but in his words, he still spoke for the Ito family. This is why the Ito family refused to take the lead in bowing to Chen Beiyuan. Over the years, they have had friendly relationships with many wealthy families in the Donghua Empire. At critical moments, there will always be someone willing to speak for them. There are definitely no less people like the Liu family. In their view, it's just helping someone to get someone, and it's not a big deal. Chen Beiyuan would not give them a face. In response to this, Chen Beiyuan just pondered for a moment, slowly picked up the teacup, and gave his own reply. I'll give you an answer tomorrow. Okay, Brother Chen is really generous. I will go back and wait for the good news. Liu Zhe was overjoyed, thinking that Chen Beiyuan had agreed, and there was a strange flash in his eyes. The young master of the Chen family does not seem to be as strong as in the legend. He seems to be a bit talkative and easy to bully. It's just that the young master of the Lu family didn't realize that all his little actions were caught in the eyes of everyone present. Soon, with some strange feelings in mind, Lu Zhe quickly said goodbye and left. "Young master, do you want me to teach him a lesson?" In the shadows, old Chen's hoarse voice sounded. Obviously, the way Lu Zhe looked at Chen Beiyuan just now angered the old man. Chen Beiyuan smiled lightly and put down the teacup in his hand. "It's just a small role. It's not necessary." The next day, the young master of the Lu family received the reply from Chen Beiyuan. Advertisement. It was a supreme omen order from the imperial military. It was signed by many famous military bosses and personally signed by Chen Zhiqing, the leader of the imperial military. In the name of the imperial military, Lu Zhe, a special talent, was recruited to go to the front line to serve the country. This is the supreme will from the imperial military and cannot be refused. Not to mention you, a young master from a middle-class family, even if you are the heir to a top family, if you dare to disobey this military order, the imperial military will be the first to sacrifice you to the flag. The majesty of the imperial gun does not tolerate the slightest provocation and must be repaid with blood. When Lu Zhe received this supreme sign order, he was stunned and his face turned pale instantly. At this moment, he still didn't understand that this was the reply, Chen Beiyuan said. Chen Beiyuan had no intention of letting him go. This is obviously to use him to scare the monkeys. "Wait a minute, I have to go to the Chen family." "Sorry, there are military orders. Please come with us, Master Lu. The superiors have told us that Master Lu must be sent to the frontline battlefield today. Even if he dies, his body must be carried there." The military envoy responsible for delivering military orders said expressionlessly. "Ha ha ha, it's normal for children to fight and fight. As elders, we shouldn't interfere. It is also a good thing for young people to go to the frontline battlefields to gain experience." After the military order was delivered, the head of the Lu family immediately went to the Chen family to visit Chen's father, but returned without success. Father Chen's attitude is very clear. Let young people solve their own problems. Lu Zhe was eventually taken away by the military. When the news came out, the entire Yinjing city was in an uproar. No one expected that Chen Beiyuan could be so ruthless and send people to the front line as soon as he took action. In an instant, countless people who wanted to plead fell silent. The Donghua Chen family may not be as powerful as the Bai family in other aspects, but it is definitely the greatest deterrent to major aristocratic families. Since ancient times, truth has only existed between swords. What's more, the Chen family has guns. As soon as the gun comes out, there will be blood.
Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please